Hello, my name is Cordelia Colt, but you can call me Cora. I am playing Minecraft today. Thine eyes are not deceiving thee, I guess. I was planning on playing this yesterday, but, well, you have to have a Microsoft account now, and I did not know how many hoops I'd have to jump through to set that up. Man, that was more complicated than it should be. I. Oh, fuck. Microsoft is like. It's like a circus ringleader, right? And I am just a monkey, and uh, they're making me jump through so many hoops, and I'm just dancing, and they're holding the one peanut that is Minecraft. And oh boy, Minecraft is a delicious peanut, but man, that process should be easier. And it just felt bad the entire way through. But I'm here now. I have Minecraft. I have it. I'm in it. And it's good. It's good, right? Now, I haven't really played much Minecraft in a while. And by that I mean I did like 1 hour or so yesterday, just to get back into it, just to, well, I mean, a little bit to check and a little bit because I was watching some streams and, I like to do stuff at the same time as watching streams. It's always nice to have something to do with my hands. Minecraft is a very good game for that. Minecraft is a very good game for that. Uh, so yeah, I was considering using the world that I kind of started. I kind of decided against it though because I don't know, it feels. It's not like I'm a professional or anything. I don't feel like I owe you, like, dear viewer, any sort of like professional grade streaming, right? I'm an amateur. I have some equipment, sure. I uh like to play games, but I'm by no means like a professional streamer, at least not yet, and I don't know if that's necessarily the plan either. So, like, I don't want to set the expectation that I'm going to be super professional going forwards, but I did feel like it did feel weird for me to kind of start off, oh, we're playing Minecraft, and then I've already started. That feels, I don't know, that feels weird to me. That feels weird to me. My plan going forwards, though, is that I'll probably spend some time grinding off stream. Very similar to how I did HoloCure, though obviously I did not start at the beginning with that one. I'd already played that a good amount when uh, when I started streaming it, which is my first game that I streamed, and I feel like that's fine for a first game because, well, you need something to get into it, right? You can't be perfectly professional from the get-go. I have never done streaming before, and this is my first attempt at really doing this sort of thing. So I felt like HoloCure would be a very how do I say, soft start, right? And I didn't want to delete my save, and I certainly did not want to make a computer for it, right? That's not the chest. Uh, but yeah, let's get some seeds. There's some water over there. If if my eyes are not deceiving me. Okay, so we're right next to an ocean. That's neat. Are we on an island? That might be problematic. Ooh, salmon. That's salmon, right? I think so. Are they the horny salmon? Or are they the normal salmon? And that's cod, I think? Let's just take a little look-see. That's cod, I think, right? I believe so. I don't know. I'm not great with fish. By which I mean, like, I enjoy eating fish, but my family doesn't really eat much fish. So I'm not like an expert. I don't know all the types of fish or anything. Which I know goes a little bit against stereotypes because I'm Norwegian and that's kind of the entire thing. I don't know. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. I don't have to conform to every stereotype. I do conform to some of them. But, you know, that's fine. I'm a living human being, right? So that's just part of living. That looks... I don't know if I like that. I don't... maybe? Huh. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe that's fine. You know, I have some... Like, I have a couple hang-ups about symmetry and aesthetics and stuff sometimes. I try not to let it ruin my life. Sometimes it kind of does get to me, though. And that sucks, obviously. I think I'm just gonna decide to be good with that branch. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to consciously make the decision that that's fine. You know, I didn't used to be able to do that. As a kid, I did not know how to just make that decision. To just, yeah, no, we're gonna ignore that. Right? Because it can be hard to turn off your brain sometimes if your brain is, like, especially if you're a little bit neurotic. I can tend to be a little neurotic sometimes. And that's such a good skill to have, though. Being able to just say, no, not dealing with that, that's fine. It's good. I do understand how it can be difficult at times. I definitely do. I have certain specific hang-ups that are a lot harder to ignore. But, you know, you learn to deal with that stuff. You do. You do learn to deal with that stuff. I would love to find some sheep, but I mean, I don't really have shears, so I'd have to kill them, and that feels... Oh man, it's already getting to be nighttime. Pig! That's nice. That's nice. We're not on a completely uninhabited island. I mean, obviously trees are here, which means, like, logically there's an ecosystem of some kind, but, you know, Minecraft doesn't really work like that. Which is kind of, you know, everything doesn't have to be ecologically consistent and make sense at a scientific level, but, you know, I know that's also one of those hang-ups people get sometimes. Where they're just constantly thinking about, like, oh, it doesn't make sense. I know a lot of people struggle with, like, sci-fi specifically because of that. I've definitely talked to people who can't do sci-fi because their tolerance for, like, bad science is just low. Man. Can you just be left-oriented, please? Thank you. I need a couple torches. I don't know. I feel like as a science literate, what would I call it? Science literate person? Like, I consider myself, like, not an expert to any extent, but I have always had like an interest in science generally. So like as a person who kind of knows a little bit sometimes, it feels like I can still kind of enjoy a movie, even if there's bad science, um, even if there's outdated science. I feel like that's fine by me. But I don't know. I feel like my ability to kind of suspend my disbelief is kind of high as well. I know a lot of people struggle with animation as well. That feels weird to me. I love animation. Ah, some people just can't get into it, and I don't know. I understand, right? You can't, like, you don't get to decide which particular hangups your brain has. That kind of just happens to you, right? Am I playing with monsters? I haven't. Of course I'm. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Neat little house. Neat little house. I have 6 torches. That's not enough to go mining for an entire day, but that's fine. Now there's actually another thing I've been thinking about. So I've never mentioned this on stream because it hasn't really been relevant to anything, um, which makes sense, right? But when I play games, when I use my computer, I I like to use Dvorak. Uh, it's a non-standard. Uh, if you don't know what it is, it's basically just a different kind of keyboard layout. I'm specifically using like a Norwegian version of Dvorak though, because it's obviously Norwegian is spelled with a couple letters that just don't exist in, well, on a standard English keyboard, right? And as such, I was kind of expecting that when I started playing Minecraft that I would have to rebind some keys, kind of figure it out. I didn't, though. Minecraft kind of just figured it out. I just opened it and it worked. And I don't know. Is that like, how should I put this so I don't sound like I don't know what well, I don't know what I'm talking about, so it's fine that I sound the part as well, right? How, like, so if you want to play with like the normal WASD layout, because that's obviously like the standard keyboard layout that most people use, like the QWERTY. Minecraft obviously doesn't bind to WASD. It binds to the key positions, I guess? Because those keys are not WASD for me. Those keys are, what would they be? A, O, E, and full stop, I think. But they're in the WASD positions, right? So when I opened Minecraft and it kind of just figured it out, I don't know. It was kind of weird. And like, I could understand that if I was using like one of the normal keyboard layouts, right? If I was using something official. But I'm not. I downloaded this keyboard layout off the internet, right? This is not like I didn't just go into my language settings and say like, oh, I want a Norwegian Dvorak keyboard. No, no, no. What I had to do, give me a second. What I had to do to get this was I literally went online, I searched Norwegian Dvorak, and I downloaded it and I installed it myself. But obviously Minecraft knew how to deal with that. And it makes me wonder, right? Because this is the kind of thing where you get a little bit of a glimpse of how stuff works underneath kind of, when you're playing a game, you don't really see the nuts and bolts and systems behind it all. You kind of just see like a polished product, like, it's Minecraft and it works and you don't have to think about it. It just open up and boom, you're done, right? But this is kind of an instance where I kind of expected to have to tinker with it, just a tad, right? Nothing hard, just rebind the keys, but I didn't have to, and it just, I don't know, just feels like a weird look underneath the hood, right? That I wasn't expecting, like, oh, they've actually accounted for that somehow. If I was programming a game, I would not do it like that. And now I feel like I've learned something. I feel like I've learned something just because I kind of noticed this thing. And that's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. That's the kind of stuff I love, though. Oh, magma block. Already? What? Where am I? So this is obviously a cave, but like magma blocks. Okay, so I've gotta admit, my Minecraft knowledge is, I don't know if you'd call it like outdated, but it's been a while since I played Minecraft, like properly played it. I used to be really into Minecraft, but that's several updates ago. That's like back when it was strictly Java, right? I kind of stopped when... Well, I kind of stopped even before Microsoft got a hold of it. Obviously, if I don't have a Microsoft account, I didn't play Minecraft during that period, but, I stopped even a little before that. I stopped even a little before that. I stopped rough... Yeah, I don't even know, actually. It's been a while, though, is what I'm trying to say. And my Minecraft knowledge is outdated, let's just say. So I've watched a little bit of Hermitcraft. I know roughly how these things work, but just only roughly, right? Do I need an anvil for that? No, I don't. I think you gain a little extra durability when you do it like that. I think that gives you just a little more bang for your buck. I'm not sure, but I do seem to recall it being the smarter way to deal with tools, right? You get just slightly more durability if you... At some point, I don't remember if it was a mod or just a setting. Well, that's not what I intended to do. Come on. The trees are making this hard for me. Come on, just blow up my house. No, you want to. Creepers are nice. Creepers are nice. Love creepers. They're one of those examples of like an accident that turned into something iconic, right? You won't find creepers anywhere else, certainly not before Minecraft, right? Because there were just kind of an accident when they were modeling pigs and they did it wrong. I've seen pictures of like what the pigs would have looked like with the creeper models. It's cool. It's cool. I see why they do it like that. That's kind of just like art by accident. I love it. I love it. You don't really get too many of those like monsters that are completely original to stuff. Oh, what? Huh. I don't. That felt off somehow. I thought. I've been counting my hits. I thought I was. Doesn't matter very much, does it? I know there's like fighting mechanics have changed since last I touched this game. I was talking about something. What was I talking about before I saw the creeper? I was talking about game mechanics, and then I was talking about like coding and programming and stuff, and like, I don't remember. We're gonna move on. Okay. I hope that's fine with you. Uh, yeah, I know like a lot of monsters in these kinds of games are very, similar, right? In that they obviously kind of share origins, right? You've got your zombies, you've got your skeletons, you've got like all those kinds of things, right? Normal, normal stuff. It's like in RPGs, you always start out fighting rats in a basement, and in a, like, it's just you've got goblins and you've got hobgoblins, and in fantasy worlds, you've always got like elves and dwarves, and you've got your standard lineups. And to differentiate yourself, one of the best ways to do that is kind of making something original. And creepers are a very good example of that, and they are iconic. And it just happened by accident, right? I mean, D&D obviously also has that in the form of beholders, right? Even if the game is called Dungeons and Dragons, beholders are like that's an original D&D thing, I think. Right? I'm not misremembering. I might be. I don't think I am though. I think that's correct. Obviously everything I say can be incorrect. I'm not an authoritative source on anything ever. Though I do like to think I have a pretty good memory for these sorts of things. I don't remember the story behind Beholders though. I don't I don't remember. But they're also kind of iconic. Dragons are obviously just a staple of like honestly human folklore. They have been for a while. Which makes sense, right? It's kind of weird, but you can see how people arrived at dragons. And I mean, when we see when we say dragons, you do have to understand that like there are very huge cultural differences between different kinds of dragons, right? A Chinese dragon is not the same as a Western dragon, even if they have been kind of conflated a little bit, especially in modern times. But I believe Chinese dragons are like water based. And obviously, like, even being water based is not the same in Chinese culture as in Western culture, seeing as Chinese culture kind of operates on a 5 element system and not the kind of Greek 4 element system. I remember there was an interview with the creators of Avatar, The Last Airbender, I think, where they said that they considered using the 5 element system for bending instead of the 4 element system. Oh, that would have been so interesting, and it would have been such a good way to introduce it to Western audiences. Obviously, most Westerners aren't really super familiar with that. system, I think is very fascinating, though, even though I have very limited knowledge of it. I kind of know the basics, I think, but like only kind of. This is nice. This is nice. This is nice. That's a very lucky find. That's a very lucky find. And there are sheep here, but I don't have any iron. And if I don't have any iron, then I don't know, like, I don't know if I want to kill the sheep to get the wool. I know that used to be... Am I revealing my age by saying that? Is that revealing my age if I tell you that I legitimately remember a time before shears in Minecraft? Oh man, I remember the alpha. Not even the paid alpha. I remember the fucking internet alpha. I remember when you played Minecraft in your browser. I remember the times before survival mode. Like it feels weird saying this, but I think I'm legitimately like an OG for this game. I feel like I was in this game early. I didn't get to play it much. Like, it took me a while for the beta, though, because I didn't really have a powerful enough computer to run it at the time. Oh, man. Man, I remember those days, though. This game's very nostalgic to me. I played it a lot as a kid. A lot. It was one of my games. Another game I kind of get nostalgic about is Wizard 101. Oh man, I remember Wizard 101. I could hear the kind of main area theme in my head right now. I'm not gonna sing it because, you know, copyright probably, but man. I remember that game kind of had like a hard paywall. Like if you didn't pay money for it, then you'd only get so far, right? And I mean like, when I say hard paywall, I don't mean like pay to win. I mean like, I think you literally could not progress beyond a certain point before you had to start paying money. And I remember I was unwilling to do that because I didn't really have the kind of disposable, holy shit, income to do that. Man. You should never do this, by the way, in real life. If you ever see like an underwater cave, like, yeah, underwater cave? No. If you ever, if you're in a cave, if you're going caving, and you see a pool of water and you want to dive into it, don't. That's dangerous. That's very dangerous. Even if you're experienced, even if you know what you're doing, that's a way to get yourself killed. Very, very efficient way of getting yourself just absolutely murdered. Caves are relentless. Same thing with underwater caves, I guess. Where you really don't want to do that. There's a Magnus Archives episode about that, I think. One of the early ones, right? Obviously one of the buried ones. Buried? Buried? Buried. English is hard. Vowels, especially. I think people generally tend to underestimate how important vowels are. I mean, obviously, consonants are more important for conveying meaning, but vowels get a lot done. Vowels are usually what makes your accent clockable. I think if my vowels were perfect, I would be way less, like, noticeably Norwegian. Not that that's a huge problem. I feel like I've hit the point of diminishing returns on my language learning. Honestly, I feel like I could, like, I am still kind of learning English pronunciation, but I've hit a point where it's not that there's no point in keeping going, but I've hit the point where, like, it's good enough that any further improvements are kind of extra. At this point, I can kind of convey what I want, and that's honestly all I need. Underwater caves. What was I talking about before I started talking about that? Man, my mind is kind of disorganized. Usually I'm able to keep these threads in my mind clearly. Like, I like to think of it as like a programmer. I I like to kind of close my brackets, so to speak, right? When you're programming, you write a function and you put something in brackets, and you write something in the brackets, and you put like a new set of brackets in the brackets, and on it goes forever. And the code won't run if you don't close them properly. And I feel like my conversations are largely like that, where I want to kind of close my brackets, but it's hard sometimes. It can be hard, at least. And today is obviously not one of those days where I'm going to be able to do that very effectively. Effective? Yeah. Who cares? You know what I mean. That's the thing, isn't it? It's very easy when you're learning a language to kind of get caught up on the details and the not very important stuff, and to just, like, it needs to be perfect or else I'm not good enough. But honestly, language is communication, and as long as people understand what you're saying, you're doing okay, I think. I think that's where a lot of the hesitation comes from as well. Underwater caves. What was I talking about? I'm trying to find it. I'm rooting around in my mind and I can't pin it. Wow, that sucks. That sucks. My short-term memory is weird today. Oh yeah, there is something I've wanted to talk about. Okay, so this is kind of separate from everything else I've mentioned, but I have, like, even before I started streaming, I've had some thoughts about, like, things I want to do, and I've been making, like, obviously you've seen my intro screen, and you've seen my ending screen, and, like, the music and everything, the graphics, all that stuff I made by myself, right? And it's basic, but it works. But it was work. I don't want to get it twisted, right? It definitely took a little bit of time to make. Not a lot, but I definitely had to familiarize myself with a couple of programs that I wasn't familiar with. But it was fun, and I enjoyed that a lot, right? Creative stuff is always just satisfying, I find. And I've been making some stuff. Because I play a couple instruments. And by a couple instruments, I mean, really, I play... Oh, I'm at 7 already. 7's fine. I don't really want to get into the deep slate, though. I play some instruments, right? Mainly the keyboard or the piano, whatever. And, like, I don't want to brag. I know I say that a lot. It's really not true. I love to brag, but I feel like it isn't super fun to listen to. And I do want to take consideration. Caves. Makes sense. One of the updates I missed was a cave update, but yeah. But yeah, I feel like obviously, like, music stuff is kind of hard, right? And when I say that, I mean, like, that's the impression I get, at least. I don't know how copyright and stuff, like permissions and stuff, works, right? If I want to do a cover, Do I have to search for permissions? That probably just applies to like companies, right? As an independent creator, I'm probably gonna be fine, but I know copyright strikes are a thing, so I'm like, I don't wanna. I want to learn a little bit more about it before I get too far into it, right? Which makes sense. But I feel like I might be good enough at, like, well, I feel like I could probably just improvise. And you can't copyright strike improvisation, right? Um, unless I play something by accident. And that does happen, sure. But if I ever notice that, I can kind of just stop, right? So I feel like that's not too much of an issue. Well, my point is, I feel like I could probably carry an entire stream just off piano improv alone. I feel like I'm probably good enough at that instrument to do something like that. And I really want to do it. I really want to do it. I feel like that would be such a fun thing to do, right? That would be great if I could just do like once a week, just spend an hour improvising a little stuff on the internet. I feel like I'd really enjoy that. I feel like I'd really enjoy that. And if I figure out how copyright and stuff works, maybe a couple like covers. That might be fun. So I've been working on some assets because I am kind of camera shy. I don't really want to show my face. Um it's legitimately pretty bad. I'm very camera shy. um but I do really enjoy streaming. I've been trying to figure out how to do piano streams without showing my face. Like, I mean, obviously you can just point a camera at the keyboard, but like there's always a chance that like I'm very animated when I play. I'm very like I move around a lot. I dance to the music, so to speak. Well, sitting down and playing as much as you can dance in that position, but like I'm definitely moving when I'm playing, and there's always the chance, right, that maybe, just maybe, my face comes into frame, and I don't want that. I don't want that. So I've been making some. So I've been toying around with the idea of like various camera setups. I think I've come to the conclusion that I don't think I'm comfortable with a hand cam even. I honestly think that's not gonna work. But I feel like because I do watch like piano streamers and stuff, and I feel like a lot of them, some of them at least, have like this MIDI keyboard thing that shows what they're playing. And, you know, most of them also obviously have like a hand cam, but I was thinking, like, if I could hook up something like that that just shows like a graphic of a keyboard with just like, oh, these are the notes I'm playing right now. That might work, right? That might. Because obviously, like, streaming is like a visual thing. I don't want it to be completely just audio based, right? Having just because like I've made an asset for I've drawn a room and I've drawn a keyboard, so I can like throw up a picture of that as I'm playing to kind of just like, I don't know, have something on screen. But I was thinking like maybe I could do one of those MIDI keyboards on top or on the bottom or something. Yeah, I'll just have to figure out how to do that. And also, I want to, you know, I obviously watch VTubers a lot, like a good amount of VTubers in my rotation. Uh, and I was thinking, like, I have been toying around with the idea of getting a model and getting, like, that stuff. For example, Izuru has his music streams, right? Where he gets a guitar and he sings a little bit, and it's like, it's a VTuber model, and it's like, it's good, right? Those streams were really good. I really enjoy Izuru's streams. Oh, man. Oh, man. Man, I want to talk more about that guy, but let's just try to finish my thought first. So I've been toying around with the idea of that. Like, is that feasible? Could I make something like that myself? Because obviously I don't really feel like I'm at a level where I want to spend too much money on like getting a professional artist to draw a model and getting a professional rigger to like that feels, you know, I'm just like an amateur streamer. I just started. I feel like that would be a heavy investment into something I haven't done for very long. Feels like it might be a mistake. Not that I'm not enjoying this, not that I'm not planning on doing it for a while, but obviously when you're just starting out something, it's a good idea not to invest too heavily into it, right? So I'm thinking like maybe a VTuber model might be too much just right now, at least. Maybe in the future. I'm open to the idea of it, but like maybe not yet. Yeah. But I thought, okay. If I'm not gonna buy one, could I make one myself? I know some people could do that. That's hard, though. I've looked into it, like Live 2D and stuff. That's difficult. Man, that seems hard. Not that I couldn't do it if I really wanted to. I could definitely, like, spend a couple weeks trying to get it, but I don't know. I don't know. It feels like maybe I could have different priorities. Have I not seen sheep? I was sure I'd seen some sheep around here somewhere. But you know, I feel like if my piano streams are just a picture of a room with a keyboard, and like if I get some sort of MIDI keyboard working, that still feels like I still want some sort of like avatar, right? I still want something you can kind of project. Oh, that's Korra, right? That's Korra. That's what I look like, even if it's not like even if I'm camera shy, I want you to have something that you can kind of say, "Oh, that's me. That's me. This is that person. Yes, I recognize them. Wow, yippee." Um, but I'm not a I draw sometimes, but I'm not a very confident artist. I'm not at all confident in my skills, and I don't, you know, if you draw, you're an artist, so I guess I am, but I don't, And I am an amateur at this, so it doesn't need to be high production value or anything. I feel like I'm just struggling with that part specifically, though. All the other assets, I've had a lot of fun designing. I cannot wait to show off what I've made. It's honestly, I'm really proud of it. It's just that one piece, right? The avatar. What am I going to do to represent myself? And honestly, at this point, I think I might just go for like a stick figure. I mean, honestly, yeah, I'm pretty proud of everything else, but like what I've drawn otherwise is pretty like I mean, it's fine, right? But I'm proud of it. And then in the middle of it is just a stick figure. It would be jarring, but it might be jarring in a fun way. uh, that's the hope, anyways. If I can't be professional, I might at least be funny. That's enough for me. If I can be at least somewhat entertaining with my low production value. If I can make a joke out of it, I'll absolutely take that. Yeah, I'll make a joke out of myself. To get, like, yeah. And again, it's not super important. That's not like... I think there's a lot of pressure on the internet these days to be kind of professional and good at everything. Because, I mean, obviously, like, entire industries have kind of spawned around the idea of content creation, and people have gotten really good at it. And a lot of people, like, use professional teams, and people practice it for years and years and years and years, and I'm just here doing stuff. And I feel like there's an expectation that I'm supposed to be like at a certain kind of level. And I know that's something I'm putting on myself, right? But I have pretty much a professional grade mic. I have a full XLR setup. I have like yeah, I've made some stuff and it's not professional grade, but I feel like this is not effort I would have put in if it wasn't for those expectations, right? And I feel like I do kind of miss that about the internet, that unhinged nature where you can just do anything. And I mean, obviously you still can, but if you want to get famous, you have so many incredibly talented people. And obviously also people with the resources to make these kinds of things happen. It's not random who gets these things, right? Either you spend a crap ton of time learning it, or you just happen to be naturally good at it, or or you just happen to have the money that you can pour into it. And I don't really have that. I'm not poor by any means, but I'm definitely not that kind of rich. Um, that's a different discussion. I don't want to take that right now. I don't want to do that right now, but I don't know. There's something nice about just being an amateur and being allowed to do silly things like that. If I want my avatar to be a stick figure, there's nothing stopping me. There's no company overhead looking at me and going like, oh no, this does not look good enough. It's just my own mind. I know. It's just my own expectations kind of putting pressure on myself to be at a certain level of like professionalism. It just, uh, and I mean, to a certain extent, that's mine to deal with, right? It's a me problem to an extent. I do feel like we shouldn't ignore the kind of wider cultural, social pressures that made this happen, though. I'm just a person. I like streaming. I have a life outside of streaming. I do stuff, right? This is not the only thing in my life. Particularly these last couple of weeks have been busy. I'm not gonna lie. They have been. But this is a fun thing to do, and I want to do it properly, right? I want to do it at a certain level of like, it's nice. It's nice. It's not necessarily that I want to be popular. It's just nice to know in your heart that you put effort into a thing and that you made it good. I just wish that wasn't also a pressure that externally, right? I wish I could say that I was doing this purely for the fun, but obviously the thought persists in the back of my mind. What if I get famous? Whoa, wouldn't that be neat? That's a little gremlin capitalist in the back of my mind screaming at me to monetize and to have success, and I don't like that part of myself. That's not why I want to do this. I am legitimately having a lot of fun with it. Why do I have to ruin that with money? But I can't really put away the thought either. It's hard, right? It is. It is. I guess it takes time. I guess it takes time. I am thinking about it a lot, though. How to deal with those feelings. I don't know. Right now, I just want this to be fun. I just want it to be fun. Nothing complicated, nothing intricate, nothing too much. Just a bit of fun. Something I can do in my spare time. And it's very satisfying when you have an idea and you make it. And sharing it with the public, even if nobody's watching, even if nobody's seeing it, it does kind of put a pressure on myself because anyone could see it, and then I want it to be at least like presentable, right? Up to some sort of internal standard, I guess. And that doesn't need to be super high, but I wish. Yeah, I feel like I'm probably gonna end up using a stick figure, and that's. I hope that the comedic effect makes up for the lack of skill. I hope that I don't end up feeling bad about that. I know it's a possibility. I know that it's very possible that I'll like do it and then I'll look at it and I think, oh, that's not good enough, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's funny. And if it's really funny, it might be good enough, right? Channels have definitely survived on like simplistic art styles before. That's definitely like a brand you can kind of employ if you want to do that. And, you know, a limitation might turn into like just a trademarks like piece of your style. And that's also like, I don't know. Personal branding online is hard. I wish I wasn't expected to be a professional at all points. I'm just a little guy. I just like making stuff. Every time I have a creative project, every time my brain just goes, yes, yes, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And that's always very nice. I enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot. Because I have the kind of mind where I just get these kinds of ideas randomly for like things I want to do. Uh, like visuals and ideas for jokes and gags and things. And I know I haven't really been showing that off too much in these streams. But I do get that a lot. I do get those impulses. And it's very nice to have an outlet for it. Like a specific avenue of creation that allows me to explore that. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm planning to do something. I'm making it. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Some bumps along the road, But I really want to do a piano stream. I am going to have to move some stuff around in my room, though. I have a piano in here, but it's kind of far enough away from my computer that just setting it up, connecting it to the computer, that's gonna be, I'm gonna have to move some stuff. I'll do it. I'll do it. But I've been doing a lot of cleaning lately. So I'm a little tired of doing it. I'll do it though. I'll do it. I want to do it. I really want to do it. I've also been thinking a lot about I mentioned I want to do Japanese at some point. I've been practicing a lot of Japanese. Today I've done like 2.5 hours, I think. Possibly more, even. Which, if you know what time zone I'm in, you can kind of infer. What? I'm crouching. You can kind of infer just how early I woke up. It's an early day today. I've said this before. I'm an early bird. I like it. It's nice. I should have some food. I should get some food. Yeah, I've been practicing Japanese, but I feel like what I really need, because I want to do Japanese. I want to do Japanese streams so badly. This idea has just lodged itself into my mind, and I do want to do it regularly. And the only way I'm going to start is by starting, right? What is Game Changer, right? The only way to begin is by beginning. Yeah, love Game Changer. But it's such a true motto, right? If you want to do a thing, you have to start at some point. And I know it's very easy to kind of just lose that if I don't actually just start. I'm not going to feel ready when I do it the first time. I'm not. That's just simply a fact of learning a language. I'm not going to feel confident in my skills the first time. I'm just going to have to push through that embarrassment, make it part of the joke. But I do want to prepare just a little bit. I do want to... I feel like the kind of prep I need to feel at least comfortable enough doing that stream that I might actually end up doing it is that I feel like I'd need like a specific like grammar lesson. Like I would need post-it notes in front of me as I'm doing the stream of like basic sentence structures, right? Because I don't really fully trust my mind to be able to kind of recall basic sentence structure in game. And I also feel like if I'm playing a game, I should do some basic vocab prep, right? What kind of words do I think would be relevant, right? If I'm playing an FPS, I should know some basic FPS terminology in the language I'm speaking, right? That only makes sense. Of course. So I feel like what I need is just to sit down properly, just decide, hey, now I'm going to write down 5 basic sentence structures and a dozen, maybe, words that are relevant to what I'm planning to do. And then I'm just gonna have that in front of me as I'm doing the stream, and that's gonna be it. Then I might feel comfortable doing it. Maybe. It might be silent, like, well, not silent. I'm gonna push myself, deliberately try to go out of my way to kind of talk, but, you know, it's hard to hold the kinds of conversations I like to hold in a language I don't really have the kind of vocabulary for. But I feel like that would probably be the thing. Oh, if I could do that this week, I love that. And then maybe a piano stream next week. I would love that. But at the same time, I don't really feel like I live with a bunch of other people, and I don't want to say too much about that, but I don't feel super comfortable streaming with them in the house, right? Because I'm very conscious of like doxing myself and protecting my privacy and stuff. I don't want to say too much about the people around me, and if they come in and don't know I'm streaming, or even if they do, they might just end up saying something that I don't want to get out. So it's very good. Like I have this, like that's the reason I've been so consistent with my times. Um, this is basically the time I have where I know I'm gonna be alone. Um, because again, I do stuff. I do stuff. I have a life outside of this, but so does everyone else here. And this time slot during weekdays, pretty much always gonna be, well, not always. It depends, right? Stuff might change in my living situation, obviously, but as things are now, this time slot is kind of perfect for me. Weekends, I might be able to make it work, and I know I should have a conversation about that with the people I live with and just talk like, hey, I want to stream sometimes, and maybe give them a heads up that like I'm gonna be streaming at this time, and like maybe don't come in here while I'm doing that. Hey, roomies, don't disturb me while I'm streaming. I'm gaming. I need my gaming. Is that a Brian David Gilbert bit? Don't talk to me until I've had my gaming. Yeah. That one video he did. Uh, Brian David Gilbert is so good. Oh man. And he just keeps doing weird stuff. I love it. Oh, I love it. I love that guy. I mean, obviously he's one of those internet darlings, but he is just mm, love that guy. Love that guy. But yeah, if I have a conversation with them, I'm sure they'd understand, right? I'm sure they would. They are considerate, right? It's not like I have some asshole roommates who don't get stuff. Like, I'm sure they'll take my needs into consideration if I bring it up with them. I feel like we're capable of having like a healthy discussion about these kinds of things. Absolutely, absolutely. There are some roomies you couldn't do that with, but I feel like that would be possible for me. I feel like that would be absolutely fine in my situation. I just haven't done that yet. And so right now, mostly weekends are gonna be a little bit. Yeah, but that's such a limitation though. I should really have that conversation. I should. Yeah, I should. We'll see though. So if I can have that conversation, and if I manage to do like the kind of Japanese prep that I feel like I want, then maybe. Then, like, if I can get all those things ready tomorrow, then maybe I'll do a stream tomorrow in Japanese. If I can get that done tomorrow, maybe. Or maybe Sunday. I feel like at least next week. But again, it is a little bit of like actual preparation. It's not like HoloCure where I can just sit down and do it and it's ready to go. right? That's one of the reasons I like HoloCure so much is it's I can just open it, play it for a bit, and then I'm just gaming, right? It's just an instant stream. It's just open the game, open OBS, press stream, press the streaming button, and there we go. Minecraft, now that I've got it set up, should be pretty painless, right? It should be. Obviously, you know, unforeseen circumstances, sometimes stuff doesn't work out. I was planning on streaming on, no, not Thursday, Wednesday, and that obviously didn't work out. YouTube was being a little weird on Wednesday for me. That's just how it is sometimes, though, right? But mostly it's just a very simple matter of like opening the game, opening OBS, making a thumbnail, and there you go. You're streaming, right? Some streams take a little more preparation, and that it's satisfying. It is really satisfying in its own way. It is really satisfying in its own way. I'm not gonna like I do really enjoy the process of making stuff, especially when I have some sort of goal, right? Especially when there's like a reason for me to do it. And streaming is something I enjoy doing. And as such, I want to make stuff for my streaming. And that's fun. That's a lot of fun. And it's satisfying to make this stuff because I want to do it, right? It's not like being handed an assignment in school and being like, okay, I'm in school, so I have to do this assignment. It's more like, yeah, I want to do this. But it is still work. It is still work. And work can be fun, but it is work. It does take energy. It does take effort. It does take time. Which means, you know, stuff gets done at the rate it gets done. And if I really decide to focus on this, like hard focus on this, then I'll obviously do it a lot more. And if I keep falling in love with it, if I like keep having fun with it and I keep just liking it more and more, then I could absolutely see myself doing something like I could see myself making more assets and making more interesting streams and doing stuff. But yeah, it is a little bit of a barrier. I'm not gonna lie, it is a little bit of a barrier. If I'm sitting down and I'm spontaneously like thinking of a stream idea, then I have to start making assets for it, and that, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. But sometimes you just want to stream. Because that's, like, as much as making assets and stuff is enjoyable, it's kind of enjoyable in large part because it feels like progress towards something really fun, right? It's like practicing before a marathon, right? It is satisfying to practice doing something, or like, I don't run marathons. Maybe piano would be a better thing, right? It's satisfying to find something new. For example, right now in piano, I am trying out polyrhythms. I really want to learn 5/3 polyrhythm. It's kind of hard. It's kind of tricky. It's not the first time I've learned like a tricky rhythm thing. I really enjoy rhythmic stuff. But like I am having to twist my brain a little bit. I haven't fully got the feel for it yet. It's coming. I'm definitely making progress. I want to get good enough at it that I can just improvise with it, though. That takes a little time, but I'll get there, right? And it's satisfying to practice because I know, like, in the end, I'll be able to use this freely in improvisation, right? Yeah, it's satisfying to practice, sure, but it's really nice knowing that this is gonna get some use. If I just get good enough at this, I could actually use this for a thing. Oh man. Man. So yeah, I like making assets, but it's nice knowing that they're actually going into something. Yes, yeah, redstone. They changed the texture of redstone. That's a while back as well, I think. But I am excited. I am genuinely excited to learn Japanese. I love that language. I caught Vesper's tweet translation stream. It was nice. It was nice. Those streams are just good. That's such a good idea. I've mentioned this before. I love those streams. I think he's got the right idea. Even if he says that he's never learned the language in that way before, like to that level of like proficiency, it's very clear that he understands how his mind works and how he needs to learn it for it to actually stick. It's very clear that he understands like the basic principles of learning a language, even if it's, yeah. And that's nice. That's very nice to see. That's not iron. That's iron. Nice. Oh, that's also a thing, right? I'm learning kanji, and I'm reading tweets, and at first I had to look up pretty much everything in a dictionary. I would spend some serious time just going through Twitter and like, okay, this is a tweet by this person. First pass, just reading the hiragana, then trying to read the katakana. I'm gonna be honest, katakana is not my strong suit yet. Still, I'm trying. It's getting better, but it's hard. Hiragana is a lot easier for me. I can pretty much just read hiragana now. Katakana, definitely. I feel like the shape language is consistent, which gives it a very pretty aesthetic, but I feel like a lot of them are very similar, and I tend to mix them up a little bit, which, I'll get better with practice, obviously, but yeah, I don't have that practice yet, necessarily, so it is what it is. At the moment, I'm struggling just a little bit, but I'm making it work. I feel like I'm gonna have to come back because I don't want to break my pickaxe yet. But yeah, that's kind of the first pass. And then I have like this website that I use as like a dictionary kind of thing. And like I searched up the kanji by radicals and probably here, right? No. And then I figure out what the kanji are. And then I'll generally like either just use the Twitter translation function, which is bad generally. It works, I guess. It's not great. It's not great. Can't really rely on it too much. But it works, sure. Or I'll, like, when I'm really feeling it, I'll open DeepL and I'll translate it into that, and that obviously works better. There are some flaws, especially because I watch a lot of streamers. The word for stream isn't really fully understood by a lot of translation services yet, so they get translated as delivery. As actually a tip. If you don't know any Japanese and you are following people on Twitter and you're just translating stuff, if you ever see the word delivery from a streamer, it probably means stream. That's probably just the translation software not understanding like a piece of internet vocabulary. I won't say slang because it is pretty much like, I'd say it's beyond slang at this point, but yeah. But I mean, like, obviously the difference between slang and official language is arbitrary, right? Is it a case for like usage and specific? I don't know. Slang has kind of the connotation that it's not official, which I mean, that's not a weakness. That's fine. Everything does not need to be official. It just there's a there's a sound. Is that a skeleton? Is that a beehive? No, it's not. Um, the informality of slang can be a good thing, but I do feel like there's a sound. There's a sound. You hear that, right? Am I going like is my mind playing tricks on me? Huh. Yeah, I feel like it's very easy for a lot of people to kind of devalue kind of the legitimacy of slang just because it's not you're not going to find slang in a lot of dictionaries, right? It takes time for yeah, man. Why huh. Minecraft's weird sometimes. I feel like well, it's the general problem with like prescriptivism, isn't it? In linguistics, people thinking that language has to be one way because it's like that in the books. Because obviously language is a far more complex thing than that. They really don't work like that in the real world. They don't. They just simply do not. And a lot of people who really don't have the kind of background to understand that think that they understand that, and that's kind of, you know, I try not to get annoyed. I try. Can get kind of annoying though when you get someone saying, "Oh, that's wrong," or it's slang, oh, it's not real. It always kind of tickles me the wrong way, I guess. Uh, I do get the impulse though. I do. I used to be like that. Why am I going in a circle? What am I looking for? This is the problem, right? I have a thought in my head and then I don't vocalize it because I'm vocalizing some other thoughts, and then I kind of just lose whatever the thought originally was. But yeah, I'd consider myself a descriptivist, right? Not a prescriptivist. It feels it feels weird to me to want to confine a language to whatever's in a dictionary, because obviously at that point you're handing the reins to someone, right? And I like the kind of anarchy that is language, right? Language ought to come from the bottom up, not from the top down, I think. Language, yeah, should grow naturally, which is also kind of one of the problems I have with conlangs. Don't get me wrong, I love that that's a thing people do. I've made a couple of conlangs in my time. Never really fledged them out super well, but I like that's definitely a hobby I spent a lot of time on in my younger days. What am I saying? I'm still very young. But yeah, yeah, as a kid I used to make languages a lot. Which, I mean, that shouldn't be surprising, right? You've heard me talk. I'm interested in languages. That's a lifelong thing for me. I've always been. It'll probably continue for a while as well. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. Don't need a wooden pick now. Those could go there. Make some armor. Yeah, let's do that. Nice. I have the default skin, by the way. That's another thing, right? I felt like I'd done enough stuff yesterday that I didn't feel like doing more. Because, you know, setting up the entire Microsoft account and also kind of some other stuff I had to deal with. I feel like that was enough for one day of like doing stuff. Yeah, I think that was enough for one day of doing stuff. But I do definitely want to make a skin at some point. And you know, talking about like skins and avatars, maybe I want to kind of do the same thing for both. Make a consistent image for myself. But again, my artistic talents, whew. I wonder, should I have any? I have some ideas. I have some thoughts. Like, I already have a little bit of an aesthetic with my opening screen, right? The loading. I'm kind of going for a Y2K video game sci-fi kind of thing. That kind of deal. Not quite vaporwave, but you know, that related aesthetic of like kind of 2000s futurism, late 90s, early 2000s futurism. I love that aesthetic so much. It's having a bit of a resurgence at the moment. Speaking of which, I recently got a CD, DVD drive. I've talked about this before. I have like a habit of watching movies and kind of obscure movies, and a lot of obscure movies you can kind of only get as like DVDs. And yeah, at that point, like if I want to be serious about this hobby of mine, having a DVD drive is just good, right? And a lot of Blu-ray drives, it sucks, but a lot of Blu-ray drives don't take CDs, which sucks. I wish they did, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them claim to, a lot of them don't, though. That's too bad. That's too bad, of course. Of course. Of course that's not great, but like now I have one, right? Now I have a CD drive, DVD drive, and you know, where outside, other side, over there, or I don't know. Now I have one, and like I've been having the at some point a couple of years back, I was kind of just given a whole bunch of like CDs, music CDs, and I haven't really had a good way to play them. Right? Oh, I'm on torches. That's interesting. Huh. But yeah, I haven't really had a good way to play them. But now I do. So I've been listening to a lot of like CDs, and it's like obscure stuff as well. I mean, there's some classical there. I got a couple like CDs of Bach, which, you know, classical is one of those things. I'm kind of somewhat traumatized from like my early piano lessons for like classical music, but I have been getting back into it, and it is like I do understand why people like it. It's just there's a lot of stuff there for me to deal with first. I have been trying though, and it is good. Bach is good. But there's also a lot of like metal, which again is a genre I've been trying to get into for a while. It's I don't. It's one of those genres that I feel like I'm gonna have to decide to just really try if I want to get into it. I get the appeal of it a little bit, and I'm definitely more comfortable with it now than I used to be, but yeah, you're on the other side somewhere, aren't you? Uh, I'm definitely more comfortable with it than I used to be, but I'm still kind of a noob, right? I've listened to the big ones. A lot of people have recommended a lot of like, death metal, thrash metal stuff, which like I get it. That's what a lot of people like in metal. I I feel like that's not really my thing though. I like prog. I like prog stuff. Anything that's got like a weird funky rhythm, that's nice. Anything that goes in a million different places. There's this one band called Leprous, which is a prog metal band. They're Norwegian, I think, which is probably why I've heard of them, because one of my friends kind of recommended I listen to them, which I agree with. I think they're great, right? They're great. I've also listened to what's the band called? The guys who basically made Gent, right? Chaos Fear is the album. What's the band? I don't remember the band name. Kind of embarrassing. Is this the right way? No. I should. My sense of direction is. It is what it is. Yeah, there. I should. I feel like the problem here is that I'm just not seeing it from that side. I'll listen to that. And I know that's like a lot of people's like introduction or like, oh, fell in love with this album. It's so good. I haven't really fully gotten to the point where I can digest it cleanly yet. I've been trying though. I feel like if I listen to it once or twice more, then I'll probably start getting it. I'll probably start understanding what people like about it at that point. Not that I can't enjoy it, of course, right? I enjoy a little music pretty much no matter what genre it is, but I feel like there's a difference between like, yeah, this is cool and like properly getting it, right? I had this when I was getting into jazz because jazz is one of those genres that it can it can definitely be a little challenging to get into, right? For most people, that's an active choice they have to make, right? Do I want to get into jazz? And then you have to do some research and like, oh, who should I listen to? What's a good introduction to jazz, right? It's kind of, it takes a little work. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. It's just a thing you have to deal with when you're getting into certain kinds of music. Mm. And I feel like even if you don't, I feel like in metal, that's kind of the thing where I'm at the point where I can definitely appreciate it as like, yeah, this is music. Sure, I'll listen to this. But I can't appreciate it in the way I feel like I would enjoy it the most. I feel like if I just push through, if I just do a little more research, if I just get a little more familiar with the sound of it, then maybe I I I, I feel like I could love metal if I try hard enough. And I do want to enjoy metal, both because it's kind of a stereotype about Norwegians that kind of gives me a natural in, I guess. But also, I don't know, it's a lot of people a lot of cool people in my life that I really respect and really like enjoy metal, and I want to have something in common with them, right? I want to be able to talk to them about this stuff. Not that many jazz people in my life. Again, I'm not super knowledgeable about jazz. I know a little bit of music theory. I know a little bit of like jazz theory. I I enjoy playing jazz. I love listening to jazz. Absolutely. Took me a bit of practice though. It did. But I don't really have many people to talk to about it. I guess I could talk to I guess I could talk about jazz on stream. Maybe someday. I don't feel like doing that right now though. But that's such a human instinct though, isn't it? Wanting to talk to the people around you about their interests, even if they don't necessarily know what you're talking about, even if they're not super knowledgeable. I just love talking to people about things they're passionate about. Those conversations are always good. I feel like a lot of people don't get that. Second. I feel like a lot of people don't like it when, it's one of those jokes that often, like in media, like, oh, the nerd is talking about something and no one's interested in, haha. I legitimately love it though. If I don't know what you're talking about, I'll still be interested, right? Because the person talking is interested and knowledgeable, and I love that. I love that. That's so engaging to me. That is very engaging to me. Torches. I should have some torches. I should make some torches. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be enough. 64. Yeah, why not? Let's just make a crap ton of torches. Like that, and we'll have 2 stacks in the chest. I'm not organizing my chest, by the way. I'm not sure if I've decided this is going to be my final base. I don't think so. I think I just want to get some basic gear first, and then I feel like I want to go exploring. I'm obviously not going to be able to bring all of this in one run, but I feel like I want some resources, right? I feel like I want... Well, I have a full set of iron armor. I have a couple iron picks. I have a sword. I have a bed. You know what I want? I want, like, a good amount of food, and then I want to just explore stuff for a bit. That's what I want. I want to know what we're working with here. Do I have any, like, ideal spots? Because it seems like I'm on a little bit of an island. Not necessarily trapped, but maybe, yeah. Yeah, I'm on an island. That's fine. That's fine. Maybe I don't want to be, though. I feel like I want to go looking for something interesting. Something interesting. Crossing the ocean? Maybe? What kind of biome would I like to live in? I wonder. I wonder. I'm not sure. I do like forests. I do. I like any kind of mountainous region, but they're kind of not great for moving around. Maybe once I start getting to the end and getting an elytra and stuff. Because at that point, navigation is no problem and you can just enjoy the scenery. So I might do that, but I feel like until I get to that point, it just... Yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you what, okay? I think I'll end stream here. I've been streaming for what? Hour 30? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I know I don't do the longest streams in the world. I'm probably gonna grind a little bit off stream. I mean, most certainly, I'm planning to watch some streams today, and doing that, I'm definitely gonna be grinding something. And I think Minecraft is more reasonable than HoloCure at this point. I've managed to get back to like 270,000 coins in HoloCure again. There's literally no point in me continuing. That game is going to get an update at some point, but that's a while. That's not for a while, so I don't know. I don't know. Minecraft seems like a more reasonable option, right? I'm gonna grind, I'm gonna get some materials, maybe some diamonds and stuff. And, you know, I'll see what I can do about, like, Japanese. And I'll try to make the assets I want. And I'll try to make all the things that I want to make so that I can do the things I want to do. And hopefully, like, ideally, I would love to get that started this week. But at the very least, I want to start next week. That's the plan, okay? So this has been Cordelia Colt. I don't really have an outro. Signing off. I feel standard. I'll see you in space. Yeah, that's my outro now. Congrats. See you in space. Goodbye. Goodbye. How do I do this? Like this. Okay, now I'm done.